Come on, good. Okay.
So we're good?
Wait, you ready?
Right.
All right, good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting of the Public Safety Committee meeting together for today, May 15th, 2024. If we could, let's just start with a moment of silence, please. Amen. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have our minutes from April 17, 2024. Got a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion on the minutes? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The minutes have been approved. Next two items on the agenda, we have no matching grants. I'm going to read both of those together. I don't have the objection there, but the police department has an after the fact approval to submit an application for the community policing development micro grant in the amount of $175,000. That grant will fund the development of a training curriculum for the CPD Leadership Institute. And as I said, there's no match required on that grant. And also, the police department has an after the fact approval to submit an application for the Abby Phonol grant in the amount of $500,000. That grant would fund trauma-informed investigations training for CPD effective. There's no match required for this grant. We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 3 and 4 have been approved. Next on the agenda, we have a police and fire department request. This is an approval to submit a joint application for the Port Security Grant Program in the amount of $2,050,137. The grant would fund night vision goggles, a bomb response robot, and a quick response boat for the Charleston Police Department, as well as a portable fire pump and rope access training for CPD. If all investments are chosen for funding, the grant would require a 25% match of $512,534.25. So yeah, it is written on here with the incorrect amount of $1,050,137. However, I'm reading it and asking for an approval of $2,050,137.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion on this? I guess I just want to make sure on this. It's a big item out of our budget as well. I just want to make sure we definitely have the funds there, and that everything's okay as far as 500,000. Anybody?
Who's on that copy? Yeah, I feel confident here, Sunset Grant, and of course, that we're going to find money in our budget to tax that.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Council member, this is Cassandra. Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you, Cassandra.
Was your question about the match for that grant, if it was going to be covered?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. So what we do is we will always make sure to budget those matches in the following FY. Just in case. Obviously, we don't know if we're going to get the grant for sure, but we would put that in as a budget request.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. We have next for the fire department, after the fact approval to submit the 2024 State Homeland Security Grant in the amount of $85,018 for partial funding of an intelligent analyst position. There's no financial impact of this grant for the year 24 or 25 budget. There is no match. Second. We have a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes. We have an approval of plan related to transferring municipal bond court hearings to City of Charleston Municipal Court. I'm going to call on Ms. Urbina, please, Judge Urbina.
Good afternoon.
Mayor, committee chair, and members of the committee. I did include a memo in your agenda, which I'm not sure how much time you've had to read or not, but basically, the Charleston County magistrates have been handling our bond hearings since at least 2016. They have told us that they are sending them back to the city of Charleston to handle because they don't have enough staffing to keep up with the city cases. The number of city violations where they have to hold bond hearings has increased exponentially since they first took this task over. So frankly, this came about quite suddenly. We just heard about it maybe 5 weeks ago, and so we've been moving quickly with the mayor's approval to get our staffing together to hold the hearings. State law requires us to hold 2 hearings every day, including weekends and holidays. And that is going to be handled through promoting one of our associate judges to a full-time weekday bond court judge. We're asking for approval of a part-time weekend bond court judge, and then also a staff clerk position and some overtime for staff on the weekends. I talked with Amy and our budget analyst Andrew Jones about these staffing changes. This year, starting June 1, which is the deadline, they placed the transfer back to us on to do this as of June 1. We can handle it by salary savings. We have a number of positions vacant at work, and the cost will be about $157,000. But again, no budget impact that you all need to approve because again, you have a salary savings. Next year, the anticipated cost would be around $264,000. Again, we are anticipating we can make up some of that with salary savings, but on the other hand, we'll probably be coming to you all for a budget increase to the court's budget next year. At this point, I can predict how much that's going to be, but we'll have a better idea of that number as the year goes on. So I'm happy to answer any questions. We would like to get your blessing and move forward on this, basically taking over this responsibility that sits with us as long as we have a municipal court. It's our obligation to hold bond hearings, and county no longer wishes to do this for us, so we really have no option but to take this over. We're working closely, very closely with the police department on this. They are ready to move forward and supporting us every way they can with this change. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Mayor, if you have no objection, assuming this recommendation is approved today, we would like to fast track this so we can get full council approval at the next meeting on the 28th.
Councilmember Seekins.
Do they want us to take over recycling too?
Probably.
So you're gonna need to update your technology to do some of this stuff. I mean, I remember we used to do this. We handed it off to the county in 2016.
So the good thing is these hearings are now by live video.
Right.
And so we do have the technical capability to do that. We are going to have some minor upgrades. We need to set up one of the chambers to handle the bond hearings with the right equipment, at least the cameras, other things, because our other 2 courtrooms are in use a lot of the days, so we would be handling this in the 3rd courtroom, but our chambers as a 3rd courtroom. But other than that, no major technology changes.
Quick follow-up, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Has the county provided you with some statistics, metrics, numbers to show how many of the cases that come through their system are bar cases?
Their data showed, and we did not disagree, that last year, maybe Mark can speak to this, but their data showed that last year alone, they handled over 2,200 city municipal violations for bond hearings. The next closest, North Charleston has its own bond hearings. They've been doing that for a long time, so they're not in the mix. The next closest was Mount Pleasant with 900 bond hearings annually. you know, we did not have anything to suggest that that was wrong and probably correct. And based upon where we are this year, there's probably going to be more than that. I understand their biggest issue is staffing, that they're down 4 or 5 magistrates. And so this is what they decided is the right way to respond to that problem.
Councilman Tinker?
Did we contribute anything to the county for them doing this, or?
Not above and beyond what we would pay to the county in taxes. So this came about as a result of an informal, really a handshake agreement between Judge Mendelson and Judge Steinberg back in 2016. Prior to that time, the city was having its own law hearings. But in 2016, the county and Judge Mendelson worked out a deal, but it was informal. You know, we didn't pay them anything for doing this over the years. We proposed an MOU that, you know, as an option, you know, that we might be willing to consider. They did not express any interest to do it.
I don't think we have a choice.
Well, as long as we have a municipal court bylaw, we have to have hearings. And the only way that we don't have to have hearings is if we enter into an agreement with the county to hold them instead of us holding them. Again, as I said, we proposed an MOU. There was no interest in doing that.
Any other questions, comments? If you're a motion.
Reminds it all of the improvement.
I would like we could hear from the chief just on what you can maybe look at this as an opportunity in terms of, I know there have been concerns, issues, complaints about the bond hearings that have been going on in the county. Do you see this as a potential opportunity for making bond more difficult in some cases where we have people just seeming to get back out on the street pretty quickly?
I think the ownership being that it is all of course, so the continuity and consistency is there. For the most part, county, they do work with us, but you know, sometimes there's some inconsistency with, you know, certain charges. So hopefully this will help us resolve some of those issues that we dealt with in the past. So we're all on board, as long as the city is on board.
And there's actually just one positive, which is in addition to having our group judges setting bonds, so there's some consistency there. The other thing is being located across the breezeway from the police department, and if officers need to show up for bond hearing, they just have to walk across the breezeway. So that is certainly to this change.
I think it's been for.
Any other
Any other
questions?
questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge, again, and thank you, Chief Walker, appreciate it. Thank you so much. So we did have a motion to approve. I don't believe we got a second. All right, we have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right, the next on our agenda is a discussion regarding traffic enforcement at Essex Farms Drive and Glen McConnell Parkway. This was requested by Councilman Brady. Councilman Brady, you have the floor for one. I think you're
Great.
on.
Sorry, I've been trying to turn my video on. There we go. Thank you. And I realize I'm on the giant screen right in front of you. But I had requested this to get put on the agenda, and I know Councilmember Shealy is this is probably his least favorite intersection at the moment as well. But there's been some concerns that have been expressed to both myself and Councilmember Shealy in kind of two regards to this intersection. One is that traffic traveling on Glen McConnell inbound in the mornings towards Charleston, at that light, when it begins to cycle, people will come across that intersection and stop in the intersection so that when the light goes green in the two right-hand turn lanes from Essex aren't able to move into the intersection because Glen McConnell traffic has blocked that. And the second is, as the turn lanes begin to load on Essex Farms, it begins to block the inbound lane. So if you were turning from Glen McConnell left onto Essex or Glen McConnell right onto Essex, that traffic can't get through because the turn lane on the left-hand side as it loads begins to block traffic. And so some of the concerns I know I've been getting are, well, what if a fire apparatus had to get through? What if a police car, was coming in with his lights on, needed to get through? It would make it very difficult. So one of the things that I had asked Councilmember Shealy to place this on the agenda for, and I talked to Deputy Chief Thompson as well, was just to discuss some strategic enforcement strategies there. I know Councilmember Seekings, we have this coming up on the TNT agenda for some signage at the unlawful to block intersection. But I think some strategic enforcement in this area, if people see people getting pulled over for unlawfully blocking the intersection, that will begin to correct behavior, because I would love to see some behavior correction, or at least some attempts at it, before we start really trying to talk about, are there some improvements that could be done at the intersection? Because this just strikes me, especially with the pictures that I've seen, this is a behavior problem. It's not necessarily a design problem.
Thank you, Councilman Brady. And I will, I'll tell you, it's an interesting situation. Glen McConnell has been widened now, so there's more lanes. It's just that cars are getting to this point at Essex Farms Drive, and actually back at Barrett's Cove, so quickly that now it's actually causing a traffic jam just further down is all it is, and they can't get through the Magwood intersection, which is blocking up Essex Farms. Can't get through the Essex Farms intersection, which is backing up Barrett's Cove. So it's interesting how we widened it, but it's just kind of bottleneck as we get to that point. I did happen to see, I don't know what the person was pulled for this morning, but there was someone pulled at Essex Farms and Parkway this morning on the side of the road as I was coming through that intersection this morning. Chief, if you would, please. Thank you, Chief Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, that intersection is more of infrastructure. The timing of lights is probably one of the biggest things that we see that causes some of the bottleneck that you see on a regular basis. It is one of the high points that we do enforcement. I did this morning, so it's a hot top location, just that whole corridor with the number of traffic that we have there. So I don't know, probably if you have anything to add with it's really the engineering. So maybe looking at the lights, the cycles, I think that would help us, especially on the public safety side of enforcement. But it's definitely something that we're already on top of, Councilman Brady, that we are monitoring, but we definitely need to look at some engineering. So.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you so much.
I agree. When this was brought to my attention last week, we did reach out to Charleston County, the project manager. As of next week, they will be putting up do not block intersection signs. So that will, help the police enforce that type of behavior. Also, they're looking at a marketing plan for Essex Farm with putting double center line down again to keep the motorists again to the correct behavior. Had a discussion this morning with my staff just about the signal timing. We're going to look more at Glen McConnell and Magwood. We're going to see if we can try to give Glen McConnell a little bit more time to flush that traffic. But again, when we take it from Glen McConnell, or take it from Magwood, it kind of displaces the traffic somewhere else. So, but we're working.
That's great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Somerville, and thank you, Chief Walker. Appreciate it. Thank you. Any other further discussion on that? All right. Well, I appreciate all that's being done in that area. Thank you. All right. I think that comes to the end of our agenda. Anyone else have anything for this committee? If not, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
And
Very good.
Appreciate it.